Okay, I think that's everything ready to go. It's been a while since I've actually talked about the anime, but I've been trying to keep my mouth shut up until the finales have concluded. So, I do have quite a bit to say, both positive and negative, because I will admit that the finales didn't go as atrocious as I thought it would go. Actually, quite the opposite. I can definitely say that I know exactly the reason why, like, the previous episodes leading up to this point have been suffering or lackluster or not as good. This is where all of the budget, the writing, the effort went into was this freaking final episode of the finale of the Masters 8. Like, holy shit. Without a doubt. Um, Joining with me this time is a buddy of mine. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, this is Ghostly Winds here, and I thought I'd just joined Mr. Jim here to discuss about the Masters 8 episode, which I thought was also interesting, but also had some negative things that we'll both get right into right now.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, the thing of it is like I didn't hate the finale as much as I thought I was going to. Like, I honestly thought it was actually, unlike the previous episodes of the Masters 8, this one was actually a little bit better put together. There was a couple of, because there was a couple of things that in the beginning at least that people didn't expect. Like I guess one of the prime examples is like people thought like Lucario was going to have a much bigger influence on this fight than previous. But he went down relatively quickly. And so many people were like, "Oh, well, shit! Ash automatically lost. He's fucked. You know, his ace just went down. Mega Lucario's done. No, he's screwed. Nope, that's it. He's not gonna win."
Yep.
I find that really funny how that's how some of these people thought. Pardon me if I just woke up, so pardon me if I'm a little stuttery. I did not. I just started to drink coffee and whatnot. I have to do these streams super early because if I don't, then it's not really relevant anymore. So, all right. So, what is while I'm trying to collect my thoughts, what is the first thing that you should bring up about the Masters 8 finale?
Um, well, the fight was surprisingly longer than the other ones, even it lasted like over 10 minutes.
Yeah,
The
I
fight
will admit.
was
Okay,
sort of interesting.
I will admit that they did drag this out a little bit as like way longer than they needed to. 3 episodes would have been plenty. 4 is pushing it. 4 is really pushing it. That lasts longer than a fucking Battle Revolution 6v6 fight, and that's saying a lot. Like, I mean, I understand what they were going for. It's supposed to be like this epic finale or whatever, but there was a lot of moments where it just was like a lot of fluff for the audience reacting to the fight, which is it's cool because it's a lot of people reacting to something. But
Yeah. The fight was alright, even though they kind of made it feel like a friggin' Dragon Ball Z Kamehameha beam struggle between the flame attack that Charizard was doing versus Pikachu's friggin' Bolt Tackle. It was like, okay, I get it. You're trying to
yeah, that's it.
overly hype the
That's
final
one of
battle
the
with some sort of PvZ stuff.
that's one of the things that I noticed right away is like the finales to the final episode of the finale rather. There is a lot of fucking detail put into this fight, especially near the climax.
Yeah.
Like it's like movie level. It's almost movie level of quality. Actually, hold on. Pardon me a moment because someone let the dogs in my room. Yeah, great during my live stream. Thanks.
It's like it got a little bit weird when Pikachu was supposedly about to be knocked out and coming
Yeah, I love
down with
that.
something, and all of a sudden
Then
there's like
everything
a
was fine
random
up until
Pokemon
then,
just
but
coming and going, "Hey,
whatever. It's a live
get up,
stream. I
you
don't
quit it."
care. That's how it is when when you don't have like a professional studio and stuff, and you're just a mediocre YouTuber like myself. But even mediocre YouTubers like myself have to give their opinion, even if they don't matter that much. But still, I'm doing it anyway. But yeah, I will. I will definitely admit that like I do like how the battle was presented. I I love like The voice acting again, fucking stellar. That's
Yeah.
one thing I never shat on, even throughout this entire series. The voice acting, or at least the Japanese voice actors, are really good and really put in their all. So that's one thing
Yeah.
I could always give a big, huge plus to. And nothing is more apparent than this particular battle. They definitely made it seem like one of the greatest battles of all time by putting like so much passion into their voice acting job. So good on you guys. Oh, hang on a minute.
The battle was interesting. Like, I think the best part was when Pikachu used his Electro Ball to block out the Charizard's Fire Blast, which I thought was inventive and interesting at the same time. Because it's like, okay, you got to use Fire Blast. I'll just use a gigantic electrical web and see if I can evade it. It's like, yep. Then it started going towards fire versus thunder, so it's kind of fight almost sounding like DBZ characters firing Key Blast, but it's like fire and electricity. So it's like it got interesting, and especially when Pikachu managed to finally get the first hit with the Volt Tackle, which is like, god damn. uh, there was a couple of iffy moments, like with Leon randomly having his phone randomly get flung out of nowhere. I was
What
like, I'm not sure why you wanted to put that there in the middle of a battle, but
if if there's any
okay.
like big complaints that I have about the finale is that whole like random Dynamax or Gigantamax section with Cinderace was completely fucking pointless.
Mm, I mean, it didn't last very long. I'm like, okay. It's like, oh,
That's what I mean. What
Gigantamax.
the hell was even the point of that if it was gonna last like fucking like 1/10 of the entire fight?
It's like, it's almost like the final episode is like saying Gigantamax and other forms don't really give much of a damn. Just go base form and go all out, which is what I think is what the Charizard vs Pikachu fight was trying to describe, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just find it funny how like I mean, I thought that Eternatus was the one that knocked Charizard out of his Gigantamax form, but some people are saying, "Oh no, Pikachu did it with the Z move," which I can agree with that. I think that's probably the more that I think that's probably
Logical
the
side,
most
yeah.
that's probably the what actually happened, which is it's kind of interesting. Isn't that like bending your own rules? It's like that shit never fucking happened in like the main games. It's like imagine if Z moves could cancel out Mega Evolution, then they would actually be fucking good. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
Like if Z moves had the power to knock others out of their forms, then okay, where the fuck was this in the games? I love how the anime just like twists stuff and does their own things.
It's like with Yu-Gi-Oh! With said spell cards and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, I just gotta put down the moon card. Oh, by the way, I can destroy the moon card and get rid of all this water all over the battlefield. I'm like, okay, now you just
Okay,
taking
I've done a
advantage to a
lot of
card game that doesn't do that.
Sorry to cut you off. I just realized that I'm kind of half clickbaiting right now. Only because the title of the live stream is Masters 8 is a waste of time, and I haven't discussed why it is. Let me rephrase. Because this battle is so I wouldn't say it's like the best of all time because I have seen better, but it was good for what it is. But because of that, and because of the writers, animators, etc., put so much effort or all of their effort into this one specific presentation, the rest of the Masters 8 suffered horribly, and it was a slog to get through.
Yeah,
That's the reason why I consider it a waste of time. If you skipped the entirety of the quarterfinals and the semifinals and you only watched the Ash versus Leon fight, you're not missing much. Just focus on that. You could save yourself so much time if you just didn't give a shit about any of the prior battles. But
yeah.
that's the problem. Look, this is supposed to be like a giant tournament with all of the all-stars gathering together, and I mentioned this before in my last live stream. But what is the if your main goal was to have Ash and Leon battle and have it be that freaking predictable, then what's the point of the other 6 contestants even showing up? You all you did was shat on them and told them to go home.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that's one of the biggest issues I have with the Masters 8 tournament as a whole. Hell, you know what? I even have the same issue with the Ash versus Leon fight. I think that the only part that truly mattered was the final episode, episode 4.
Yeah.
That's where all of the fucking animation effort went into. Holy shit. Like it is fucking great. They probably spent 90% of their budget on that animation alone and then like fuck, we have a whole tournament to do, don't we? That's probably why there were so many like hiatuses and some recap episodes because they used all their animation budget for this one giant last scene.
Yep.
So that's the reason
Yep.
why that all the freaking recap episodes happen.
Yep.
And
Uh,
it's been also been proven by sources that they are suffering a lack of staff. So it's like I said, it's like the anime. I'm not like shitting on them too much because obviously there's only so much you can do when you have like a third of the people you used to have. But unfortunately, I still have to give a fair criticism regardless of how many people you had. That's like say I don't know. That's like saying that indie devs, for example, or someone who like worked with like a small team of people should get a little bit more of a leeway because they have less people than a AAA publisher. It's like that's not necessarily true. It's not like I mean,
mm,
it's you're still reviewing the product as a whole, regardless of how many people who worked on it. It's like while the number of people can affect how a product turns out, it shouldn't like you shouldn't give something more credit or less credit just because of the number of people because to me that just doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to judge it I'm just going to judge it fairly accordingly regardless of that information because like it, I don't know, it just seems like if I just say oh that's okay or whatever, it's just like that's just taking the easy way out. It's like no, there is criticism there. It's like that like the rest of this Masters 8 fucking battle really suffered horribly. Like I think the quarterfinals was probably the worst in my opinion. Like
yeah.
it the semifinals was decent because it was nice to see Cynthia, even though the first episode of the Cynthia fight was good, the rest wasn't. Because Cynthia was at her absolute best in the first episode, and then she somehow forgot how to fucking battle by the end of it. It was apparent when she has Mega Garchomp and she chooses to use Dynamax Togekiss instead. You basically forfeited the match. She has,
Uh,
like, her most powerful weapon is even more powerful with Mega Evolution. What? I mean, I fucking hate Megas, but even I'm like, why the fuck wouldn't you do it? Like, what's stopping you?
yeah, they're
It's
currently masters, and yet they didn't really give Ash much of a challenge until like Leon finally stepped
no,
up and
that
pretty
was
much.
that was a freebie for Lucario. That
Yeah,
it definitely was. They just wanted Lucario to look wicked good, just to give him even more of a reputation than he already has. Which I don't want to hear it from any of you Lucario fans that Lucario he got screwed in the finals. No, he was flawless up until this point. Sorry, you expect him to
yeah,
never lose?
he was nuking Pokemon left and right. So
He literally
yeah,
didn't lose up until now. It's like, yeah, I understand that. Yeah, he kind of went down with a little bit of a whimper, but like at least Dracovish and Sirfetch specifically got a chance to really shine. They because it like earlier before this tournament even aired, they were borderline non-existent in the series. So the fact that they actually got a lot of screen time and a lot of significance in this tournament, I'm happy about that. Like even Dragonite at the
yeah,
very end, like I've mentioned it before in my my last CC video that I uploaded yesterday at the time of recording those, that there is a lot of significance between that victory over Dragapult because even in Sword and Shield, like the games, I hear Dragapult's kind of a force to be reckoned with. And not only that, it's
oh
the
yeah,
earliest pseudo legend versus the latest pseudo legend. So like that's like I don't know that has a lot of value behind it alone. It's like I don't know that has like a you can't beat the classic sort of vibe to it. but
yeah.
but yeah no that so But actually, you were mentioning too. I was thinking the same thing, but I decided against this. But you were thinking that Ash Ketchum didn't deserve to win this fight. Do you still agree with that?
Um, I had a feeling that he was going to lose anyway because as soon as he got to his last Pokemon, it's like, yeah, he's screwed. There's no way he's going to be able to pull a lucky shot out of his ass. But at the same time, he found a way, and it's like, eh, I get it's supposed to be a challenging fight with like a little bit of strategy and planning, but at the same time, it's like I feel he should have lost to actually learn more about the challenge that he had to go through to get there.
Yeah, what's funny
But
too is if you really think about it, if Ash wasn't allowed to use all of the different gimmicks, do you like would do you think like he probably wouldn't have won?
yeah, he would have lost majorly easily because if he didn't have all the gimmicks and if there was like a certain rule set on what abilities and skill sets and stuff he can use, then
When I think
it
about it, the only ones that
probably
really mattered was his Z move at the end of the day. Oh
yeah,
no, I guess
his game move
Gigantamax
was pretty
Pikachu
much
was a
his
thing
strong
too,
one.
but like Gengar did okay, and then Lucario did okay. Actually, no, they both got a KO, didn't they? They did.
Yeah,
They both got a KO. Okay, so basically, what that entails is if it weren't for Gigantamax Gengar and Mega Lucario, Ash wouldn't have won. Is what I'm getting at. If they couldn't use those forms, would they have not even a one? So yeah,
yeah,
that
if he couldn't
I
use
kind of sense a
forms,
little
then he
bit
was
of
just
not necessarily cheating, but unnecessary handicap. Because there is a difference between
yeah,
cheating. Cheating would be like, I'm not supposed to use this, but Megastone.
yeah,
That would be cheating. But this is more so like handicapping, or like
yeah.
handicapping Leon, or so. It's like I understand that Leon wanted to see Ash at his full strength, but at the same time, Leon didn't lose to the same battle format. So
No,
at the end of the day, would that still be? Do you still think that's classified as like a legitimate win, or do you think that's kind of like a forced win? Because I'm leaning a little bit
uh,
more towards forced. Because
I'm
if
leaning
Ash
towards
had to
force
follow the
because
same rules as everybody else,
yeah,
then
I think he needs full force.
he probably
I
wouldn't
mean,
have
he still
won.
had to follow the rules and stuff, but Leon, in terms of his Charizard, didn't really use any of the Z Max moves or Mega Evolutions or anything else. He just went full base form Charizard and just
Well, he
went at
tried
his
to use
best with
Gigantamax,
that.
but he was not. He got knocked out of it.
Yeah, besides using Gigantamax and getting Z move the fuck out of it, which is like, okay, that's a little bit
Now
OP,
that
but
I think about it, I think
I'll let that one
Cinderace
slide.
had Cinderace had more screen time with Gigantamax than Charizard did, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah, no one wants to look at Cinderella in terms of Scarlet and Violet, though. Oof.
That is
Already
so
getting nightmares
weird,
trying to look at
though.
the images.
Yeah, that is so freaking weird. Like, yeah, so yeah, like so honestly, like it's very debatable because yes, I think Ash does deserve to win because he's capable of training like basically any Pokemon that he just so happens to catch at the time. Which
Yeah,
I was calling bullshit on that before. The first thing I was thinking of is, oh, why doesn't he use an all-star team? But someone pointed out a really, really good point, and I didn't notice about this now. If Ash is such a good trainer that he's able to bond with Pokemon faster and more willingly than other trainers. So basically, he's able to form an ace team with basically any Pokemon he comes across instead of just
yeah,
using the aces from beforehand. Some
yeah,
some people might find that to be a little bit of a cop out, and oh, it's not as good because they'd rather see some of the fan favorites return. But I can agree that on the other end, that that Ash is definitely a better trainer than Leon because he's able to form like unstoppable teams with basically any Pokemon he catches, not necessarily. So basically, he won the whole thing with a team that's basically a couple years old. Maybe we'll just estimate, well, a couple years old in terms of like the actual anime runtime. But like
yeah,
Leon, or in this case, just a year. I said no. I guess in terms of anime time, it's 1 year because it's the yearly tournament. So it would
Yeah,
be
in terms of anime prep time, yeah.
so basically he formed a perfect team in 1 year, and Leon, it took him his entire life.
Yeah,
So that just proves that Ash is the better trainer overall.
yeah.
Which in that regard, yes, he definitely deserves the win. But in terms of like handicapping Leon just because, no, he definitely did not
No.
deserve this win. I thought they originally they were gonna do, oh, they both fainted at the same time. I guess they're both champs. I thought they were gonna do that.
Yeah.
The way that ending looked, I'm like, you motherfucker, you better not faint at the same time.
From the flame tackle and bolt tackle collision, I was like, oh, it's going to be a tie. It's going to be a tie. And oh, crap. And Charizard fell on his ass. Okay.
Yeah, and then Pikachu technically fainted too, but after Charizard. It's like, oh, he
Yeah, but
stayed up for
after
at least
Charizard, they
3
gave him like a
seconds.
5 second.
It's the 3 second
Yeah,
rule. He
3 seconds.
wins.
Yeah. It's like playing a freaking game of Punch Out. It's like if you don't get up in like the next 10 seconds, you're out. But with Pikachu and how said Pokemon's supposed to be fainted or knocked out, apparently it's a 3 or 5 second rule before if they get up, then it's still going on. But at the same time,
Yeah, I thought I'm
I
glad
asked,
they didn't do
how
the
long does
fucking
it take
tie.
for a Pokemon to say, okay, I had enough of this, stop? Because Pikachu looked like he was about to get freaking slashed in half.
Yeah.
How many bruises and goodness what he went through.
Oh man. But yeah, like I mentioned before, this battle with Ash versus Leon actually was good. I don't want to I'm not gonna shit on it for the sake of shitting on it because that's unfair. You know me, I'm unbiased when it comes to things like that. Except for Mega Evolution, I will always hate that. You can't convince me otherwise. It's the only thing I'm biased with. But other than that, in terms of everything else, this fight was actually good and it was not predictable. Like some people say, some people were able to predict it because they knew inside sources saying that, it's rumored that this is Lash's last series, blah blah blah. It's like I don't really count that. I'm talking about looking just at the presentation as a whole and being able to predict it. Because I didn't really know anything about like the rumors and shit. I made my prediction on the Masters 8 and who was gonna go on and who didn't, just by basing it off of what's previously happened in the series and who was going up against who.
Yep.
And by that standards, the Masters 8 is still 100% fucking shit in that regard. If I was able to predict every single battle leading up to this, it's terrible writing and it's garbage. It's not enjoyable. Yep. And even like the presentation, if you compare that to the finals here, it's dog water. It's not that good.
Yeah.
It's not shit, but it's just not nearly as good as a comparison. But in terms of like the finals itself, it was clear from the beginning where all the budget went into. All the writer staff, all the animation, it all went into this one battle alone, especially the finale.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think they made this battle first, and then did the rest of the Masters 8 later. Because they wanted to make sure that this was the best battle of all time, so they made this months before. They probably focused on this specific thing months in advance, and then they basically had to play catch up with all the other shit leading up to this point, which probably explains why there's so many recap episodes and so many fucking hiatuses and shit, because they're basically struggling to keep up.
Yep.
And they're like, well, shit, we have to make this entire Masters 8. We only got an X number of weeks to do it. We spent like 3 months on this one battle. Shit, we gotta put everything. What? All right, it's like, oh shit, what do we do for the Diantha fight? Nobody cares about it. Make it a slideshow.
How do we make this better? Let's throw Lucario into the middle of the stage because everybody loves Lucario. Sure.
No, well, that's my biggest. Actually, that's my other problem with the anime. I think the ratings fucking tanked horribly, like partially through. So basically, in my opinion, they used Chloe's Eevee and Ash's Lucario to just to get the fan service views. It was really apparent. It was really apparent. Because they
Uh,
weren't really a main focus up until like halfway through, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, by the way, where the fuck did Chloe's Eevee story go? By the way, you just dropped that without a second thought.
yeah, it came out of nowhere. It's like, okay, here's Eevee, and
It's like, oh, it came
okay,
out of
and
nowhere. It's like, oh, look at all the Eevee evolutions. Buy our shit, watch our show.
don't forget to get our plushies at
Yeah,
this website.
they basically use the Eevee evolutions just to like get more. They basically use that as the perfect distraction while they were working on Ash's main story. Because
Yeah,
EV evolutions just automatically just attracts people, like because they're like something that's the most popular species in the entire franchise.
yeah.
So yeah, Pikachu. Yeah,
Even
so
some of them I do like.
Pikachu, Charizard, Lucario, and Eevee are like the top fucking four. Can't change my mind.
Yep, I
Like
agree.
I can
Can't really
guarantee
change that.
that with most people, one of those Pokemon is on their top 5 list.
Yep.
Yeah, and by knowing that data, they definitely use that as like a way to get more views on the entire thing. It's not necessarily a bad idea. I mean, yeah, whatever it takes to get people to watch, so that way the anime can continue if it gets enough revenue. But at the same time, it just feels forced, and I just don't like it. Especially all the shit, that whole fucking shit with Lucario. I hate. I mean, I was to say I hate hating on Lucario, but that's a fucking contradiction. I don't want to hate Lucario, but the fact that this anime just shoved it in my face constantly, this definite look on the fucking the podium picture with Ash holding the trophy, which by the way I'll get to that after this point. But
Oh yeah, it's hilarious.
Lucario's in the fucking front with his paws on his hips, being like, "Bitches, yeah, I know you were rooting for me." Like he knows he's the fucking center of attention, and he's out in fucking front.
It it was like they just randomly pulled something from Super Smash Brothers and just used his victory pose as the end card or something for that episode. It's like, here we go, just put sassy ass Lucario just shaking his hips, going, "Yeah, I won, suck it."
Yeah, like it's crazy too because like he yeah, I remember Dragon Knight's in the back, but that's because he's just big. But there was another moment too where like Ash was visiting his old Pokemon, that one random episode where Paul jumped in, but that episode there, it showed like Lucario and Gengar on the very front and Dragonite's in the back, and all you can see is like one of his eyes and part of his nose. Like you can barely fucking see him. He's so stuffed in the back, away from everybody else. But Lucario's front and center again. Like, oh god. And my next point. If anyone's up my ass about, oh, you're spoiling the whole thing, shame on you. Don't look at me.
No, no,
The fucking
they
official
spoiled it
Pokemon
themselves.
YouTube channel, which is not even based out of Japan, by the way. It's the one based off of North America. It's mere seconds after that episode aired in Japan, they posted, "Congratulations, Ash Ketchum," and spoil it for the entirety of North America.
They also spoiled it on Twitter too. There's already
Like
people
what?
tweeting
Like
it
what
on
the fuck
Twitter,
is
and
that? Not
holy crap.
everybody is watching the Japanese anime. Hell, if you're
And the
not from
trophy is like
Japan,
10
it's
times the size
extremely
of Ash.
fucking difficult to watch the Japanese anime now without fucking pirating it. Or
Yep.
you're having a VPN or some shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like there's a lot of people that either don't know how or physically can't see the Japanese anime. So they have to wait until it comes out in their region. But no, they're
Yep.
just like loud. It's like, oh, well, Ash won. Did you enjoy it? Well, no, they didn't, because you fucking spoiled it for them. It's like at
Did
that
you
point,
enjoy
you
it? I
might as
just
well
put
have
like
in the
5
comment
seconds in
section the
already.
entirety of the Scarlet and Violet decks. Just spoil everything while you're at it, huh?
Uh, and yet, you know what's funny? The trophy that Ash is holding in the image is like 10 times the size of him. It's like, Jesus Christ.
I think it was made for Dragonite. Dragonite should have held the
Yeah.
trophy. Actually, yeah, why didn't Dragonite should have held the trophy? He's strong enough. Or she's strong enough. I think
Yeah,
it's a
one of the
female.
Pokemon should have held it, not him. Like, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, like
Give some Dragon some supremacy, damn it.
and now one of the things and now one of the biggest things too, and this is something I most certainly cannot predict, where the series is going from here. because Ash, after 25 years, has finally accomplished his goal. He became the very best that no one ever was. So, like I mentioned before in this question, where does the series go from here? Is Go gonna take over? Is he gonna go to like the Palladian region, whatever the fuck it's called, and take in and work on Project Mew there or something? Is there gonna be entirely new protagonists? Like I don't like it. While it's really really cool to see Ash win the entire thing and accomplish his goal, but by the way the episode titles look for the next few in Japan, like the last three, this might be it for him. I think they're finally putting him in retirement, and I think that's the last we're going to see, which it's going to be bittersweet. It's nice to see him get what he wants finally, but at the same time, the anime is not going to be the same ever again. It really
No,
is.
it's not.
It really isn't. And if they thought their ratings fucking tanked before, not a lot of people like Go. So if you're making that the protagonist from now on, you might be in for a rude awakening. If you're making
Oh my god.
if you're making new protagonists, well, I hate to say it, you're not gonna catch the same magic as Ash. You can try all you want,
I think I might.
but it's not gonna happen.
I think I might know what the next series is going to be on, since the other person Go, his sidekick, is going to be a thing. They might actually call this actual next season Pokemon Go. Uh, uh. But yeah, if Go does
Do I have to
become like
spend
the next
$5.99 a
protagonist,
month
it
to
could.
watch it?
Yeah, if Go does become a protagonist, it could be interesting. Even though Go's apparent thing was to catch every Pokemon and Mew, even though that's gonna take him like God knows how many friggin' years, especially trying to find Mew, because Mew is a pain in the ass to try and find, by the way.
Which
Especially when he has the power to transform to any other Pokemon.
I will admit that if this next episode, which is focused on him, if that doesn't really go anywhere, pun intended, I guess, then more often than not, he's going to be the protagonist for next series, if there is a next series. Because I don't even know, like, judging by how hard the team struggled for this finale and whatever, who knows if they're gonna take like a year off. I honestly think they should. They should take like a full year off, or like not like a year off, but like not upload anything for a year or not post anything for a year, and just focus on like taking the time needed to like build a fleshed out series. Because this whole journeys thing was started off pretty strong, but as soon as like the layoffs happened and shit and COVID kind of fucked with it, it really plummeted.
It really shut down the toilet. It really went down the toilet.
Yeah, they're like, because there's a lot of different like things that just was either fluff, didn't make any sense, didn't need to be there, or just things that just flat out was dropped or just unanswered. Like I mentioned Chloe before, like her they straight up just had to fucking abandon her side quest just because they didn't have the time, which is unfortunate. But yeah, Masters 8 was fucking garbage at the end of the day. The finale was the only thing that mattered, but the thing of it is like my point still stands. Even though the finale was a really good showstopper, the entirety of the Masters 8 was a waste of fucking time. We went from like May up until now. It was a fucking slog. It took this many months to get up to here. That's like suffering through a fucking video game for like 15 hours just to get to the fucking good part. Like, because it has a really horrible fucking first act or whatever. I forget, there was one game that was like that. I forget what it is. But yeah, there are games that are like that, which has a really slow fucking like disgusting beginning. And it's just a nightmare to fucking get through. But then, is it worth putting all that time and waiting and whatever to get to the good stuff? I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. I ought to, like, for anybody who hasn't been spoiled already by the ending, if you're willing to like rewatch anything, skip the entirety of the Masters 8 up until the finals. The finals is the only thing that actually fucking matters at the end of the day. It has the most time, effort, and budget put into it, without a doubt.
Yep.
Or at least specifically the fourth episode of the finals. That had, like, because I noticed, like, a shift of, like, animation style, and, like, Charizard has all these, like, different shadings on him and shit. I'm like, did we just fucking go into movie quality? Like, what the hell? It's so out of place. It looks good, but it's out of place. Like,
It's like,
holy
why
shit.
was this Charizard in the games? Why isn't this Charizard in any of the other games or
Like
any of the
he's
other animes? Like, come on now.
I was gonna say, like, he's just not like it looks a little too good because the rest of the animation was just okay, and now this one is just like
Yeah.
boom. It's like a drastic it's like a drastic difference. Like yeah, I don't know. It would actually no, maybe they should have. Now if they had like a separate not writing team, but if they had like the finals be like its own movie or whatever with that level of animation for the entire thing, I would have been on board for that. But like even the first three, yeah, it's like yeah, I
Yeah.
know
But
Dragonite
what?
finally got a win. Yay, that's super happy for them. But it's still the first three parts of this battle were not as good as the fourth. I'm not saying it's shit. It's not shit because it was still entertaining up until this point, and I couldn't 100% predict it. This is like the first time where I couldn't fucking predict what's gonna happen. Yay! Good job. That's what you need to do. Because
Yeah.
I honestly thought Ash was gonna lose either by tie or by just straight up losing, but I was wrong. They actually made him win. So when I see I actually enjoyed this part of the anime a lot more because I didn't predict what was gonna happen. But that just that just proves that that this was definitely back heavy without a doubt. There was like nothing in the front, no substance, no effort, no nothing put in the fucking beginning, and it was everything at the
Nope.
end. But I still feel like I wasted my time like getting up to this point. I should have just not gave a shit until the finals. I wasted all of this fucking time up until this when I should have even not even bothered. So in that regard, the Masters 8 in Pokemon Journeys was a complete waste of fucking time for everybody. It was a waste of time. It was a waste of time for the fucking people who made it, and it was a waste of time for everybody who watched it up until the finals with Ash versus Leon, which in reality that like even the writers knew that's what everybody fucking cared about the most. It's just
Yeah.
that presentation. I mean, that's what all the fucking news articles are saying too. They're saying that that's what everybody's focusing on. It's like, oh, you got to watch this specific battle. It was amazing. Watch this one. Watch this one. It's like that. So yeah, so basically you're admitting the rest of the Masters 8 is worthless.
Yeah.
Don't even bother watch it.
This one's the best battle yet. Check out the other ones. Yeah.
It's like, oh man. So yeah, I'm sorry to everybody else who joined this tournament, which is Lance, Cynthia, Elaine, Diantha, uh, Steven, and Iris. Every single one of you, you got shafted hard. You got screwed.
Yeah.
You definitely needed a better treatment than that. Especially Elaine. I think Elaine had it the worst. Which is ironic because he's like one of the trainers I can't stand because of his Mega Charizard. But even I admit he got the worst treatment. No. I take it back. Diantha did. Because Diantha's battle wasn't even worth fucking showing. But Elaine was second.
Mm.
Like Diantha, well, actually no, maybe not because Diantha did show her stuff against Lance. So no, that's not fair. So yeah, no, all right. Elaine definitely got the worst because he got destroyed within just two Pokemon. Like his Mega Charizard was an absolute fucking joke. That like,
Yeah. You get
which is
fights
ironic
that just
because
get
he's the
everyone
one
like
who defeated
emphasized.
Ash. He was the one who defeated
Mm.
Ash's fucking Greninja way back when. So then for his
Yeah.
Mega Charizard to go down to a regular Charizard, that's like a big fucking punch to the nuts to every Mega Charizard fan or just Mega fan in general. Which,
Yeah, that's a finger flip right there.
but
It's like, yeah,
and then
base
Diantha's
Charizard's not gonna
definitely a
matter, but
close second for sure because like her battle against Leon was like, oh, nobody gives a shit, and then like literally they show her Pokemon getting destroyed with a PowerPoint presentation. It was so stupid. It made absolutely no sense.
that's
They
just like rubbing it into the person right there. It's like, hey, we're gonna show this person losing. Have fun. Like,
the
wow,
third person who
really
got it
dicks.
worse, I was gonna say Lance, but no, I'm gonna say Steven just because
Yeah,
Ash didn't
Steven.
deserve to win that fight. If there's any a fight that Ash didn't deserve to win, it was that one. Because that
Mm.
Z move should not have fucking KO'd Mega Metagross. Nah, I call bullshit.
Yeah, I feel
So
such
yeah,
cringe.
Steven got fucked. Steven got fucked hard. And then next would be Lance, just because yeah, like his Dynamax Dragonite was an incredible fucking disappointment. It was basically uh, uh, Mega Evolution's better than Dynamax. More presentation more than anything. Which Cynthia failed to get the memo on because she just fell for the same fucking trap as he did.
Yeah, and
uh,
that's what made it really, really predictable and hilarious at the same time. I was like, oh look, Megaform, and this
yeah.
hurt. Okay.
Yeah, and then Cynthia like is it probably had it the least worst, except they definitely they someone must have smacked her upside the head or like with a hammer in between the first and second episodes because she definitely played stupid the second and third episode.
Like she
But
had amnesia for like 30 seconds, like, oh crap, what am I doing
yeah,
again? Oh
so
yeah, I'm using
that
this
is
move.
so if there's any battle that Ash didn't deserve to win or if it felt more forced than ever, it's definitely the first two. And then even the third one, even the final still has its iffy moments with the ability to use all gimmicks. Because like I will conclude with this: if it weren't for that, Ash probably wouldn't have won. But they
Yeah,
also,
if it
but
wasn't for
they
the gimmick,
wanted
that should
to.
have been
Leon
Chomp.
wanted a challenge. He was like Lubu in Dynasty Warriors. Can anybody provide him with a decent challenge? And Ash definitely did so, and he brought it home.
Yeah.
I think that's everything. I don't know if there's anything other parts of the anime in general you want to talk about. Really, I think we've covered all grounds here.
Uh, I think the final's pretty decent. He pretty much got the crowd going for a little bit. The one thing about Leon's phone being flung randomly into the background was, I'm not sure if that was like something to hype the crowd up or some sort of pop off. I'm like,
I have
Leon, you're in the middle of a battle. Why the hell are you throwing your phone at the screen?
I have
You're
no
supposed to be
idea.
beating the crap out of an electric rat, not trying to throw your social media contacts all over the freaking screen. You just see it for like a split 5 seconds that you see his phone getting randomly thrown backwards. He's about to do the Charizard flame tackle, electric volt tackle
Oh my
collision DBZ moment. I thought it was kind of funny, but
So
also
what?
questioning
So was he on
why.
like the Pokemon version of Twitter saying like tweeting about like, oh man, this it's like Ash won't let up. I'm getting my ass kicked. Someone hashtag someone help.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it looked like. It's like I'm just gonna quickly make a hashtag going, I'm about to beat this bitch, and all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, phone flies off the damn
Oh
screen,
no,
and all of a
it's
sudden it's a
not
collision.
Twitter. It's Chatter because
Yeah,
it's Chatot and Chatot's the mascot of Chatter. Oh,
yeah,
oh come on, you guys. Okay, you guys should make that a thing. And Scarlet and Violet,
yes,
could
please
that be
do.
a thing? Like the social media app's called Chatter instead of Twitter, because that would actually
Chatter.
be funny. Dude, that is clever. You have to give me credit for that one.
Yeah,
Because Chatter is also a move that he can learn.
oh yeah, it is true. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's hilarious.
All right. Well, I think that's about it. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I act. This is the. I can't even speak. God damn it! I need another coffee. Hold on. Let's try that again. Take
Meh.
two. Anyway, that is about it for me. In terms of like recapping it all one more time, I did enjoy the finals with Ash versus Leon. I'm actually a little bit more than I thought I would, so I will admit that. But in terms of like wasting my time up to get into the good stuff, shame on you. The entire Masters 8 should have been the same level of quality. But
Yes.
that's the thing that I really hate. The fact that this is supposed to be like a grandmaster tournament that of the top 8 best trainers in the entire world. But at the end of the day, it just seemed like
They didn't really pull out the best of
unnecessary padding
the
up until the
yeah.
actual battle that mattered. Which that's
Yeah.
just using fan favorite trainers just to shit on them, which I don't like. It just
It's kind of like how
didn't.
they do it in DBZ. It's like we're gonna have Goku charge a Kamehameha for like 10 episodes, and then finally we end it.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But yeah, hopefully these writers can take like a good hiatus or something, like a break or something, and like take a good long break from the anime for a while, and then cook up something like really good in Scarlet and Violet. But like if Ash Ketchum is truly retiring right now and he's not coming back, then all I can say is you guys are gonna have a hell of a time. I'm not saying like the anime is gonna be guaranteed to be shit without him, but a lot of people mainly focus on Ash's journey, so if he's gone, you're gonna lose a lot of viewers. That's all I'm saying. I'll still check it out,
Yeah,
even though I don't really have any reason to, because it's like the main reason why I showed up to the anime was Dragonite. I will admit, I did check it out in the beginning before he went to Dragonite Island, but as soon as I seen the Dragonite Island episode, I was immediately tuned into like the rest of the series. So
yeah, I
yeah,
had a
you got
feeling.
me with
I had a
that
feeling
one,
it was
okay? You
Dragon
got
Island.
me.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Wait, so that means wait, does that mean that Dragonite's like one of the best Pokemon of all time? Eat shit, Hydreigon, you suck.
Yes. The fact that he used Dragonite a lot more than any other trainer has in any of the other seasons, I can actually say yes. Dragonite is one of his best. Next to Lucario, Pikachu, and a couple of others.
Okay, you can't beat Lucario. Nobody can. That's why this motherfucker always has a like
Especially his friggin' sassy hipping swaying ass.
yeah, if it makes it any more apparent, it was just announced Lucario has another $50 fucking box that you can buy for his cards again, even though there was one released not even 3 months ago.
God damn it.
Oversaturation is an understatement. But all right, that's enough
Is
rant.
Lucario simping now a thing? Because Jesus Christ, they need to slow down on that.
Now a thing? It's been a thing for like a decade. It's just way more apparent now than ever, just because Ash caught one. Everyone's just obsessed with it.
Lucario, Mega Simp. Yay!
Ugh. Well, that'll about do it. I don't know how your opinions are. If you really thought this was like the best battle of all time, please leave a comment down below. I will honestly agree with you on that. This is probably the best battle of the entire series, and it's apparent in everything. But it's just a shame that the almost entirety of the Pokemon Journeys anime was an absolute chore to get through up until the good stuff. Because holy shit,
yeah,
there's a major problem. Instead of focusing on a fantastic, unbeatable finale, like, why don't you also make the rest of the anime equally as good quality if you can? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or at least spread the quality out throughout the entire series, so that way one episode shines sprightly in the sky, the others are just sitting in the garbage bin. So yeah,
they're all sitting in Zubat's cave.
Pretty much. That'll do it for me. This is probably the very last episode of rant of the anime I'm doing. I don't have a real reason to like come back to after the next 3 episodes. Like, I think Ash is just saying farewell to his Pokemon or whatever. Makes sense. Who knows what's going on after that? I don't really have a reason to return and make another rant or another episode of this. I think this will be the finale of my own. But yeah, thank you so much for wasting my time with this whole thing. Like, next time I'm just waiting until the very end and just watching it then. No, that's how I'm doing next time in terms of Pokemon anime. But yeah. All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like or a dislike down below if you agree or disagree with me, respectively. Also, or disrespectively. And also leave a comment down below as well with your opinion on the whole anime. Do you think that the previous episodes leading up to this point weren't a waste of time and actually had more significance than I saw? Or do you agree with me and think that the Ash versus Leon fight is the main showstopper of the entire series? Please, I'm more than happy to listen. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm signing out, and you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye.
See ya.